We really appreciate that you guys are spending a few hours out here with us tonight. So thank you guys so much. I think our really point of this conversation up here is really to focus on how you guys can effectively sell affiliate internal within your organizations, and how to position it best is really a win, right? We get a lot of questions internally about affiliate. There's a lot of unknowns about it. So how do we help educate everyone within our organization about all the great things that we're really doing? So we have two people that are experts in our industry up here to really help share some tried and tested techniques that they've really had success with in their lines of business and with some of their partnerships as well. That hopefully you guys can take away from today, and when you guys are in meetings in the future, you can utilize some of those techniques. Does that sound good? Yes, good. Cool, excellent. My name is Jeff Thibault. I am with CJ. I am on the corporate development team here. And I'm going to go ahead and let these guys introduce themselves. Jeremy, if you'd like to.
I am Jeremy Aronson. I'm from Upsell.com. I see a lot of familiar faces out here. It's good to see everyone. Thank you, CJ, for having us. I have been with Upsell for 13 years now. Been there quite a while. Old man at the place, which is weird. I have been on the publisher side for most of my career. Publisher, I guess loosely, because a lot of that is with Upsell, and we're a technology partner. So those that don't know us, we are a conversion rate optimization tool who operates like a publisher. So we're a performance-based model, no other fees, no other costs. And I'm hopefully going to teach you some stuff today about what we do or how we go about things. I think we're talking about some quirky things about us. We were talking about that upstairs. I have been scuba diving with 5 different types of sharks. I enjoy it. I don't know why, but I do. Yeah, so something about me. And I've been done it with great whites as well. So cool.
Wow, that must really help in a corporate environment.
Yeah, totally.
Hi, my name is Mike Ridgewell. I'm a strategic consultant. I've been in America for about 20 years. 17 of those was heading up CRM for the Walt Disney Company. And then for the last 3 years at Fandango as the VP of the Digital and CRM. So very excited to be here today, speaking to you guys with these good people.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate that you're out here today. Let's jump right into it. I think one of our most important questions is really, what is a piece of advice that you can give everyone sitting out here as something critical they should be doing within their organization to really get more support for the affiliate channel?
Well, for me, I think it starts at the top. You really need to kind of go to your C-levels, get their support and buy-in, and then kind of go down from there. CMOs, VPs, other marketing channels, everyone really needs to be on the same page with what we're doing, right? So, at least with us, we run across it quite a bit where, our affiliate channel, our merchants aren't necessarily talking to other people in the business to understand what's going on, what are their pain points, not just affiliate pain points, but the whole business pain point. And so getting more communication out of everyone and being able to do that, I think is a big part of what we need to do.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. And I like to say we've all heard of ROI, but also think about ROR, return on relationships, because they are so very important in the modern business world. Because I feel that if you've got the blessing of a stakeholder, life is easier. They will trust you, they will like you, they will believe in you, they will embrace an idea way more easily than if you haven't sold it in quite the right way. So think about your stakeholders and what would be the unique message that they would need to hear from you guys that would tailor the message enough for that message to resonate as much as it should.
So Mike, as you're talking about trying to sell into some of the leadership within your organization, having kind of an elevator pitch in your back pocket, I think is very important. So what would you guys recommend for that? Kind of what is your elevator pitch when you're explaining affiliate to someone?
So no, I love that. I think that to me, I don't think it's one elevator pitch. I think it may actually be a couple. An elevator pitch should be personalized. In an industry where we all talk data and data usage and data-driven X, Y, and Z, I think it's really important to have your elevator pitch just as targeted as you would a campaign. So if it is to a senior level executive, it's what's additive. How does this touch point be additive to every other media touch point involved in the campaign so that the overall campaign impact is higher than it would be? Right through to understanding what other stakeholders may find as a pain point. For a CFO, it may be incrementality. For a manager, it may be how to increase volume and lower cost per lead. So having a very specific elevator pitch, I think, can really help a lot.
So would you say it's fairly accurate to say you really need to know your audience when you're crafting that pitch and really have that crafted for every person you're talking to know what they're really after?
Absolutely.
Those are great points. For me, it's, more, I guess, high level is, know your audience is great, but, the affiliate channel is, we're a beast of our own, right? We really got to go out there and kind of explain what we do, in and out. We all kind of react differently, if you will, to different messages online and different ads that are put in front of us. And if you don't have the affiliate channel, you run the risk of alienating, your viewership, right? And alienating who you're getting in front of by not having the affiliate channel.
No, I agree. I think sometimes when I was on the client side, I really appreciated the stories that were different.
Yep.
I really enjoyed chatting with you upstairs because I could hear your industry knowledge. And I think sometimes I would love to see that come through in more pitches, because on the client side, we often see the same deck. It's the same deck with the same Getty images of people smiling on phones, and the content is engaging through engagement and that kind of thing. So sometimes actually having a pitch that's different, that's standing out, and really more customized to what the business need would be, I think would actually get a lot more traction than perhaps some of the generic decks that we get shown sometimes 2 or 3 times a day.
We agree to that 100%. Making it, videos, making it more relatable, understandable, 100%. Yeah.
So as you guys are talking about really customizing things to the audience, when you're looking to develop these new partnerships, that's a big part of what affiliate is about, is finding these new partnerships to help solve business problems, whatever they may be. So what do you guys feel it is that it takes to create successful business partnerships for really working together to achieve a shared understanding of what your goals are?
Well, first and foremost, you got to understand the problem, right? The answer's in the question. You got to understand the problem and then come up with the plan for that. And then, as we all know, lots of A/B testing, right? Continuous A/B testing. For us, it's important as a company to not only understand what's going on the affiliate side, but I kind of already touched upon it, is understanding all the channels, what's happening, what's working, what's not working. Sometimes what's not working is going to benefit us more than what is working, because we can really get in there, help make a plan, take our technologies and build something around that to really create success for the channel and for our clients.
Well, see, I love hearing that, because to me, I think it is that additive piece that's so important. What can it be as part of an integrated plan, as opposed to having each individual touch point being treated as a separate entity, each competing for dollars, each competing with a different story. To having that unified approach, I think would make it certainly easier for a CMO to understand the why.
Right. Sure. So really looking for that holistic point of view as opposed to treating everything as if it's a silo.
Absolutely.
And on that, we deal with cannibalization questions all the time, incrementality and profitability and all that, and really coming up with that plan and going to your CMO, going to your VP, and knowing that you understand those issues and you have a way to potentially solve them and or address them. That's going to go a long way within the organization and getting everyone on board with the affiliate channel.
Yeah, that's true, because it doesn't have to stop with the CMO. There's the CFO, right. There's the VP, there's perhaps even it could be a specialist. How are you positioning yourself as the way that you could actually solve a business problem that you've heard? So I think my simple answer to your question earlier, Jeff, was the power of listening and asking questions. In that sequence, how often do people come in and they immediately start talking and pitch, as opposed to really understanding, well, what are you really trying to solve for? Where are the headaches? How can I make your life easier? Ingest that information and then turn it around and say, well, I can help you. This is how I can help you with the touch points that I can control.
It's really understanding what that core problem is, as you're saying, as opposed to approaching something, here's a solution I have. Okay, well, what's the problem that you're having? Does that really address it? We're not sure. So really, being mindful of that, having those deep discussions with someone initially, and then coming back to them with what that solution is going to be.
Absolutely. And as I used to say to some of my old teams, sometimes the problem is not the problem. I think the obvious goal is you've got to drive revenue, you've got to get efficiencies, increase profitability. I mean, that's a given, right? But what really is the problem? Is it convincing someone about incrementality? Right. Is it that the volume of quality leads from a certain source needs addressing over another? So sometimes it's that second or third or fourth level of questioning might get to that real reason, as opposed to I need 1 million leads a year at a 25-cent CPA. It may be just drilling down that little bit to actually understand how can you really go above and beyond that to be an additive partner as opposed to a vendor.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree. As you're talking about digging deeper, affiliate has a lot going on it. We all know that there's lots of different publisher models out there. Trying to explain that to someone with everything that we do that is impactful in affiliate, when affiliate is one line item on a budget, is very challenging. So we have transparency into that. That's one really cool thing about affiliates. We get to see all these different things. But when we're trying to explain that to a leader, in my experience, you kind of have to tailor that a little bit to explain, like this is what's happening at the big picture, but they're going to get overwhelmed if you start going into all these different publisher models, all these different things that you're talking about. So what is the right information to be sharing with whoever it's the CMO, the CFO, whoever that decision maker is? How are you really prioritizing that and figuring out what is the important message that they need to hear from you versus what is just going to be additive noise?
So I love that question. So from my experience, I think you have to realize there's a continuum of understanding and sophistication between different clients, and even within the company, different team members that make up that individual client itself. So it's really just going in there, listening, asking the right questions, actually perhaps monitoring, watching what the advertiser's been doing around a certain campaign, trying to follow the industry a little bit tighter, just so that you can make an informed opinion on how to be additive, because I think that would really help. Then you're coming from a very stable foundation, as opposed to just pitching a product and hoping they like the product. Then it's very binary. They either will or they won't accept it. Whereas if that product is tailored to a specific need, then I think it would be way easier to get it sold in at any level.
Sure. So how would you maybe approach that, knowing something like a channel like paid search is pretty straightforward, cut and dry as to what it's doing, where affiliate has all these different buckets. So kind of how are you prioritizing that?
From my side, it would really be prioritizing it based on asking the clients some questions, almost like in a consultative manner. So what is the core challenges that they face, and how can each touch point in turn address those challenges?
Sure.
Yeah, so kind of the theme I think here is, at least for me, is just openness within an organization, right? So really going back to the C-levels, going back to the mid-levels, whoever is around your core as well, and continuing to teach them, right? Teach them about the space, teach them about the stuff that they don't know, so that when you do come to them with these challenges and how you've solved those challenges, it's more eye-opening to them, right? And what you've done and what you've been successful at doing. So I think continuing education is super important for what we do, and then kind of goes back to talking about incrementality and profitability and hearing that a lot. Is that if we're able to kind of address those with certain strategies and getting those people around us to understand those strategies and how we're successful, it'll go a long way as well.
Kind of going along those lines,
Yep.
Trying to educate people, get people excited about what we do. What's maybe a strategy you've had of breaking down that door and getting people genuinely excited about what we're doing?
Well, it's super tough, right? As we're talking about, because everyone's in their own bubble and trying to show the successes in what they do. But we cross paths a lot of times, right? And where we're sending traffic, what pages, who we're targeting, et cetera. So there's got to be some sort of common bond there in terms of talking about those strategies together to then educate more about your side of the business and do it that way.
Sure. And for me, sometimes it's the more out-of-the-box solutions. When I was on the client side many years ago, the answer to your question would have been CJU, or an event like this, or a discussion at an event like this that perhaps actually had more traction than a cold PowerPoint in a room somewhere, where you're trying to convince someone between meetings to understand something at more depth. So I think it's important to perhaps invite people out, have these kind of dialogues, meet and greet, and really understand the subtleties that make it a powerful medium.
I think one of the things that Mike had mentioned to us when we were chatting beforehand is something I really enjoyed was in some cultures, you go to the pub, you have a drink and you talk about it, and you get people excited about it. So I think that's something that we all understand and like to do. And we're set up here to do that. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer from doing that. So I'd say kind of the last question here really in closing is, what's kind of that one key takeaway you could give to someone to really raise the profile of affiliate in the organization and get them super excited about it, get them wanting to ask questions about what affiliate is doing?
I think we talked about it a lot already, right? Just coming to CJU and other events is just educate yourself so that you can go back and educate everyone else. Really, that's it. I mean, I think, we don't realize it sometimes, but in affiliate, we speak a different language. right? It's almost like speaking Greek or Spanish or whatever. And we have to sometimes step outside of ourselves and realize that and say, okay, I'm saying things, but the person's looking at me like I'm crazy, right? So you got to step outside and really go back to kind of educate and bring that emotion of like, okay, this is something new again. I'm excited about it. And like you said, bring that excitement back on board.
Yeah, no, I love that. Well, so to me, I have to go back to if you're going to really be a partner in crime, to make the people's life easier, return on relationships is key. So without that fundamental building block, will the message be as resonant as it could be? So look at who needs to be educated, informed, and then target specifically through personalization to come up with the solutions that you need to move forward. But the return on relationship to me is so important and very, very often overlooked.
Excellent. So it sounds like we need to know our audience. Everyone come to CJU and drink a little bit more. Those are some good takeaways we can all live with, right?
Exactly.
Cool. Excellent. Well, thank you guys very much for coming to join us today. Thank you guys for being here as well.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for
you guys.